this is something that, as I'm sure you know, is always a big deal, especially at the beginning, because coming up with the right template and then making changes, and then God forbid if you have to switch from one category to another and things like that. Um, is there a way to simplify that whole process? I mean, I've been doing this long enough, and I could never find it other than try and understand in each template and what that serves, what each column serves. Can you share with us some tips to make life easier a little bit working with templates?
I mean, that's where maybe, and this is where I have a very biased view. It's an unfair view because the whole reason that we created PackView was to automate things. That's the tool space. And so you don't have to use PackView, you don't have to use Helium 10, there's competitors, you can use any tool you want. But that's what the way you should be seeking from a tool provider is, instead of you having to figure this out with templates, the tools are trying to automate that for you so that you don't have all that work on your side. That's the value add. And so like a good example that comes to mind for me is Amazon launched AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud. Sellers probably aren't taking too much advantage of it yet, but when they launched it, the best way for me to explain it is it's like it's all this metrics and data. Imagine an Excel spreadsheet with like 2,000 columns worth of data. Great. What are you going to do with that? Use write SQL to be able to pull that down, right? So like, great that they launched that, but you have to have a data scientist to be able to do anything with that, to be able to massage it and understand insights and things like that. So what we did at PackView as an example is we built templates to be able to understand overlap analysis of when you use search and DSP, what happens. And so we actually created the reports so that you don't have to write SQL. You could just go to our template or our tool and see the report that actually integrates all that data into it so that you're not doing the work. And that's kind of an analogy, if you will, to understand the tool space. It doesn't have to be AMC, it could be anything, but like, instead of having to use bulk sheets, instead of having to use these things, the tool providers should be the ones that are making that easier, adopting the API. Because if you don't have the API, you can't, when you download an Excel spreadsheet and it changes one column and you don't, that's when it all messes up, right? So like by
Right.
having API, that means that you don't deal with that issue. It's all in your machine, and it all works so that if there's a change to a different column, that mess up doesn't happen to you.
Mm.
That's like the easiest way in like English I can explain that. But
Well, I mean, what I'm hearing from you is don't try to deal with these individual moving parts. Instead, find the right tool that deals with it. So you just use the tool instead.
and those are the questions when you're looking for tools. These are the questions to be asking. Like, hey, I'm having a lot of pain downloading these templates and uploading them. Is there anything that can help automate this for me? Like that would be the question to ask the community, and then be like, oh, use this tool. So wherever you find pain, there's probably a tool that solves that for you, and there could be cheap and easy, and also bring with it a community where you can ask questions and say, how do I do this? So that's kind of the best